If I had to pick one thing that helped me get to single figures in a year, I think it's setting myself the goal in the first place. Because I'm a big believer in going after goals that stretch us so we can discover what's truly possible when we really go for something rather than just dance around the edges. That's why when I got my first handicap of 34 in August of 2021, I set myself that goal to get to single figures because I wanted to challenge myself and I wanted to see what could be possible if I really went for it. And looking back now, I think achieving that goal might be the hardest thing I've ever done because I hit upon so many moments of doubt and so many walls in my own mind that left me questioning whether it was going to be possible at all. But even though there was a lot of times when I felt stuck over that year, I knew that giving up was never an option because I'd set myself the goal, and it was a goal that I had truly committed to. And I think something different happens when we truly commit to a goal. It's like when we get stuck, when we've truly committed to something, but we find that we get stuck along the way, our minds look for a solution, a way forward. But if we've only half-heartedly committed to something and we get stuck along the way, it's like our minds look for a way out rather than a way through. And so that's why I think that setting the goal helped me get to single figures, because if I hadn't have set that goal, if I hadn't have made that true commitment to go after it, I think in those moments when I felt stuck, I would have looked for a way out rather than a way forward. And that goal didn't only give me something to commit to and something to work towards, but it gave me a vision that I could work back from as well. I used to ask myself, what would it look like to be a single figure golfer? What would their game look like? Their long game, short game, putting? How would they practice and how would they play? And I used those questions to build out this vision of the golfer that I wanted to become, that I wanted to build myself into. And at first those questions felt bold, especially when I was a higher handicapper. It felt like a little bit of a stretch to think about even practicing like a single figure golfer. But the point of those questions wasn't to suddenly make this big leap, to go from that higher handicapper to a lower handicapper. The point of the questions was to help me plot my path to get there. Because without a plan of action, I think when you're going after a big goal, it's easy to fall into the trap of the gap, feeling like we've got this massive chasm that we've got to cross between where we are and where we want to be. But by having that plan, those smaller steps that could move me forward, I had this sense of purpose that pulled me through when procrastination kicked in, or like it is now, it's very cold outside and you just don't really fancy practicing. I knew what I was working on and why I was working on it. And so in those moments of doubt or procrastination, or even when I'd come up to practice and I'd get comments like, up here again, that plan gave me a purpose. It gave me the fuel to keep coming up to practice, even when I didn't really feel like it. That's why I think it's the goal that helped me get to single figures, because without that goal, I wouldn't have had the destination that I felt driven to get to, and I wouldn't have had the jumping off point to create that vision from, or then plot my path back to make my plan to get there. So if you're feeling a bit stuck with your goal for the minute, maybe one of those three things is missing: the goal, the vision, or the plan. Let me know what you think it might be in a comment below, and I'll see you there.